guys, I'm back with another video, and today I am gonna do a mid-year check-in, and I'm gonna go right back to the start of the year and have a look over my reading resolutions and see how well I've done and make some goals for the rest of the year. So my first goal was to read 35 books. I know that I've already read 40 books, so I've done extremely well there, and I've even upped my book count to 50 now. Which I think I'll probably be able to hit by the end of the year. And I'm so happy and I'm so proud of myself that I was actually able to not just hit my goal, but hit it like 6 months in. I think it was 5 months in. I'm just really happy that I've been able to fall back into reading and just like rekindle that flame and that love. So that's been great. So my next goal was to read widely in terms of genre, ethnicity, and sexuality and nationality. And I think I've done pretty well with that. I've read books from people in Japan, Korea, Sweden, Jamaica, Cameroon, Nigeria, England, and the US. And even in genre, I've definitely started reading more science fiction, and that's been great. And that's exactly why I made this goal. I wanted to push myself to go out of my comfort zone. So I'm really happy that I was able to go out and read science fiction and try a new genre and actually really like it and find like a whole new kind of subculture within it that really speaks to me and who I am. One area that I have been lacking is books from LGBT authors. I think I've only read 2 queer literature books or books from the LGBT community, which I'm pretty pissed about actually, because I thought I probably would have done better than that, but it's definitely something that I need to make more of an effort with. For the rest of the year, my goal is to read 4 books from LGBT authors, at least. My next goal was to read at least 1 non-fiction book a month, which I think I've done pretty well at. I read Why I Write, I've read The Fire Next Time, I've started reading Thinking Fast and Slow, still trucking on with that one, it is a dense book. I read Note to Self, even though I hated it. I read The White Book, Autumn by Carl Norsgaard, Persepolis, If You Can Talk, You Can Write. So I think I've done pretty well with that, and I haven't necessarily read 1 non-fiction book a month, but over the course of 7 or 6 months I've read that many. So my goal is to read 6 more non-fiction books. My next goal was to read more essay collections, and I don't think I've done too well. I've read Why I Write, which is at the beginning of the year, and I've almost finished Friedrich Nietzsche's Why I Am So Clever, and I also read The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin. And all the essay collections I've liked, I've loved, but they have been quite hard for me to read, and I always find it hard to read essay collections or non-fiction, because if it's not teaching me something, like if it's not a how-to book, I find it quite hard to carry on. Like there's no story to keep me going, and there's no like situation to like hook me back in, so I always find it quite hard to read stuff like this, especially with authors like Nietzsche that are very like convoluted in their sentences. So yes, I will definitely keep trucking with that. I have quite a few at home, so I think my goal for the rest of the year is going to be to finish what I have and not buy anything until I've kind of finished the books that I do have. My next goal in general was to read more philosophy, and I was quite specific with this actually. I said that I wanted to read Friedrich Nietzsche's Beyond Good and Evil, I wanted to finish Marcus Aurelius's The Meditations, and read Sigmund Freud's The Psychopathology of Everyday Life, Civilization and Its Discontents, and an Introduction to Psychoanalysis. And I did have a look through those books at my favourite bookshop, and they are dense and they are pretty meaty. And I've started reading Friedrich Nietzsche's Thus Spoke Zarathustra, and there was another book I started reading which is pretty hard, but I have found it so hard to read them. They're very dense, they're just very thick. And Friedrich Nietzsche, and I know some other philosophers, have this way of overwriting stuff, so I'm having to read stuff like 2, 3, 4, 5 times to really understand what they mean, so it's taking twice as long to read. I think I definitely overestimated how well I could do for this one, so I think again for this year my goal is going to be to finish what I have And in response to that, I actually bought The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday, and it has 366 meditations on wisdom, perseverance, and the art of living. Basically goes and draws information and material from different philosophers in the school of Stoicism, and it's a little bit like a devotional. So every day of the week, every day of the year, he has like a little snippet from either like Seneca or Marcus Aurelius, or you know, some philosophers from the school of Stoicism, as I said, and he does a little excerpt from them, and he'll explain how to apply it to your day. And I think I've only read 2 of them so far. I've been doing great, and I bought this maybe a couple months ago, but I think it's been really good. Like, just take one little bit and meditate on that for the rest of the day, I think is really, really helpful, and maybe is a better introduction for me than going straight into one of Nietzsche's huge works. So yeah, I'm gonna keep reading this every day, and acclimatize to it, and also finish what I've started. My next goal was to read a biography, and I'm not really a fan of biographies. I think the last biography I read was The Game by Neil Strauss, and it was about like the life of pickup artists, and I actually quite enjoyed that, even though it's quite misogynistic and quite ugh. But it was interesting to like just see his world, because it was so different from my own. But I haven't read one biography, but a friend of mine is going to lend me the biography of the lead singer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and she told me all about his life, and I'm quite interested and quite fascinated. And I don't really read many books on the experiences of middle-aged white men, so it's gonna be interesting, a revelation for me to read it. So my next goal was to read more manga and graphic novels, and I actually managed to read 20 this year, which has been great. And I feel like with manga and graphic novels, it's made me really appreciate, and it's definitely given me a new respect for that genre and for the storytelling involved in it, and also just how everything works together. It's been really great, and manga and graphic novels were a huge part of my childhood, and it's been great for me to just go and revisit that and just to fall back in love with it. I've done way better than I thought I would this year, but I'm definitely going to make an effort to maybe just read one graphic novel a month, and just to keep going with the series I have. Like, I've started a monthly subscription to Saga, to the chapters, so, but I haven't caught up yet. I need to catch up to what I have. But yeah, basically I'm just going to keep going with what I have with the series that I've started, and yeah, aim to read one new standalone a month. My next goal was to read more academic texts. I don't think I've read one, but I have started reading propaganda, which has been quite good, and I know that this was also one of the books. I've read a chapter of this because it was in one of my essays at uni, but yeah, it's probably good I read the whole thing, isn't it? And I really want to read Said's Orientalism, because another book that I read like a chapter of and used it in my essay in uni, but yeah, it'll be good for me to like read the whole thing. And I also want to read some more from Bell Hooks. So yeah, I think for the rest of the year, my resolution will be just to finish again what I have, to finish this one, to read a book from Bell Hooks, and that's a big book though, to read Said's Orientalism. I'll do it. My next goal was to read 3 classics, again, which I have read 0. I have 1984. I've been saying that I'm going to read it for ages, but I just haven't been able to. So I think I'm going to relax that 3 books to 2, and I'm going to read 1984 and another book of my choice for the rest of the year. Yeah, it's just hard, especially with classics, especially like with the Brontes. They're just the overwritten sentences. It's quite a lot for me to want to read. And my last goal was to shop more consciously and use libraries and op shops and charity shops a lot more. And I've definitely done that this year. I have rekindled my relationship with the library. And it's just made me respect and just marvel just at how amazing a resource the library actually is. My other list of goals was also to read some books from some authors. So I had Haruki Murakami on my list, and I've read 2 books from him, including Men Without Women, so that's been pretty good. I've read 2 books from James Baldwin. Hey. Another person on my list was Chimamanda Adichie. I have read 2 books by her. I've just finished The Thing Around Your Neck, which was amazing. I'll be doing a review on this. And the last person on my list was George Orwell, and I managed to read Why I Write, and I am planning on reading 1984, so that's going well. I'm reading the authors that I wanted to read. Overall, there have been some highs and there have been some lows, but I think overall I've done very well. But one of the things that I have realised looking back is that I did set some very overzealous goals. I was very rigid and very like, I need to read 4 of this, 2 of this, 6 of this, and I think that maybe wasn't the best way to do that. I think it has been useful. I have ventured out a lot of my my comfort zone and what I normally read, and it has been useful. But I think for the rest of the year I'm definitely going to relax, and I think next year as well I'm definitely going to relax a lot more in terms of reading, of what I'm reading and what I'm making myself read. And I wasn't even really referring to these goals that much over the year, like maybe I looked at them 4 times and then like completely just forgot about them. So I think the fact that I've managed to do as well as I have has been great. I'll do another catch up at the end of the year, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you in my next video.